out of 50 fragments in this entire list, 6 fragments are required first that you all need to go through, 10 of which are special ones reserved for the ending, going through all the fragments, reserving them for last. It's unique and really fun actual setup. Like, I won't lie and like be a tiny bit negative saying like the leading up of the first four chapters involving like discussing Mia Takano's backstory are actually kind of boring me a bit, since it was a massive departure from what we've been seeing all the way up into here. But then sitting through this new framework with doing an association game with all these fragments and the various requirements that be unlocked within, just reading through some of them is already made me realize how the story is probably going to progress. And I'm really happy for that. Before going through that, though, and my theories about that is that to the looks of it, the entire crux of the Higurashi When They Cry story seems to be all on the crux of 3 characters. And I guess if you narrow it down even further, technically goes down to 1 person. It's not Rika or Keiichi. It all comes down to Sadako from the looks of it, actually. Like, she's the heart of it all, actually. Out of everyone it looks like here, the 3 people who had the most biggest effect, like outside of Mio Takano's whole plan, which I'll get into later, is literally Sadako, Satoshi, and Rika, and everything ripples from their actions or relationships around them to the extreme. Just from one requirement of these tips, right here, of H170, literally just unraveled it all for me, which I didn't quite understand at the time since I was getting used to the rules of the fragments last episode. The discontinuation of Sadako Hojo's dissection plan is required. That literally obviously implies that means that based on how one of the last tips ended with Eri and Takano talking about getting a live specimen so they can figure out where exactly the Hinamizawa Syndrome actually originated from, it makes me immediately think that Sadako was, if not the first, one of the few people like designed and targeted just to focus in on that she contracted it, that she has like very late stages of it, and they've been literally just using to test things onto her. Or maybe it was Eri who rejected the whole claim of just doing the dissection, whether or not it was actually his influence or not, based on the whole fact just right now it just feels like both Takano and Eri at some points actually had a change in somewhat plans or heart or motivation and led to different routes, honestly. Eri was fine when doing horrible things in the past of doing lobotomies and studying, like, just removing bits of the brain, then slowly just transferring to be almost the exact opposite, to be a bit more caring, try to be more humane. It looks like it. And Takano, from suffering a lot of different things, decided to take her anger out on anyone that got in her way. And actually, from the looks of it, these 4 tips actually are meant to showcase everyone who's been quote-unquote demoned away. So starting from Oyashiro's Curse, all the way from year 1, the dam construction site murder, it was the main culprit for him, who took one of the arms and fled, was never seen again. Second sacrifice, there was just the talk about like, it was Sadako's parents who just suddenly just went missing, and one of them went missing, and the other parent's dead body was found. The third year is literally just Rika's parents. The priest died from a disease, and the mom was never found. A suicide note was left behind, but nothing was found of her body since. And the fourth one, Satoshi. Every single one of these people sacrificed, who were demoned away, were actually live dissected. Just to look into this, look into the Hinamizawa Syndrome virus. We never saw their bodies because they've been completely disposed of, and it explains why Satoshi literally just disappeared up and vanished, honestly. And he was actually, like, kidnapped and taken on his way back from the teddy bear, like, grabbing the teddy bear for Sadako, honestly. On his way back to Hinamizawa, the mountain dogs nabbed him, and then he became the next victim there. Which technically means that, in some way, Eri was actually semi-aware of the true cause of the curse. Not just, a blind participant, just usually like that. Just in the looks of it, just from, the live dissection thing, honestly, that he, like, was completely fine with Takano doing it, and he himself calls him a hypocrite from, thinking whether or not it was wrong or good or anything like that to do. He was kind of aware what was going on. Even if, like, by a certain point he was let out of the loop of anything that happened, or, like, after the first dissection, honestly, right here, he was put in a silent treatment, and then that actually seems to make a lot of sense as to why he decided to off himself, and it seems like, from the looks of it, almost every single installment, if the whole idea is right. He went crazy, both thinking about everything that happened and just realizing that he was meant to be the director of the entire medical institution, and even if he doesn't, he still believes that Nakano's dead or alive. He's literally the one meant to take responsibility for everything that happened inside the clinic. He's the scapegoat, and he decided to literally just take painkillers and sleeping pills, honestly, and overdose on them, instead of being blamed for everything like this, being roped into all this, literally just to be the fall guy, honestly. He already like subconsciously realized it, or maybe like only pieced it together by the time like before the great like Hinamizawa disaster even happened with the gas in the swamp, honestly. And that's probably the reason why the swamp actually wasn't concreted over. If they didn't take the bodies with them, they all dumped them into the swamp and poured concrete over them, just so no one would be able to find it that easily. They even had an entire manual to get rid of lower subsections of the Erie Clinic, honestly. And so much has been unraveled from the looks of it that the only reason that Sadako wasn't seen to be targeted, unless Eri decided to, that early on, actually start caring for her that much, the people actually stopped Sadako from literally being brain dissected, was literally just because of her close ties with her brother who wanted to protect her, and also her best friend Rika, honestly. Someone is technically the most powerful person there. And all the fragments here, in his entire little, like, menu actually showcases all leading to that. So many of this. Where is it? Where's a few select versions? There's a few which you need to find. These are the last 10. Those are the most, probably like the finale fragments, honestly, but what was it? There's a few which actually seems to point to all that. Literally just another way of how to describe him, the queen, honestly. Requesting assistance from a queen. It's literally just going into the conversation about how Rika and Sadako managed to be, I guess, recruited or enlisted onto like the Z's research, honestly. Whatever limited information they have, and were told to be completely confidential about. And the whole crux of the mystery and story is based on this information, which, like, it's twofold, because if you want to figure out anything that's happening, or figure out who the true culprit is, I guess, reasonably, it's literally just figuring out that Erie's not meant to be the main director of the town, of not the town, but the Erie Clinic itself and the project, they're researching the disease that Sadako has been afflicted by, and to some extent Rika's involvement too, honestly, with that disease, honestly. And then that Takano technically is the main mastermind behind it, and she has, like, national backing, honestly. That's all the things you need to figure out, I guess, truly who the real culprit is. And I'm just sitting here wondering, how would you manage to, I guess, realistically figure that out in the first 4 installments? All this is a really good story, honestly, but again, with that question answers arc framework, honestly, and one person mentioning one person just mentioning the key to the whole entire mystery is just Ryu and Chapter 7, both again with everything about the mountain dogs, the hints about the disease, honestly, all like Sadako's taking checkups and taking shots, honestly, and Rika's there to go back and forth there, and somewhat of Takano's involvement, actually. That's literally the biggest piece of evidence, and you only find it out in the last installment. So even though I do like the story, where it seems like this is all heading, honestly, where it's being revealed, again, I am a bit feeling it's a bit unfair of a mystery, because if all this was actually revealed probably sooner, maybe more people actually would have been pinpoint it was Takano instead of my little first guess, just gut instinct wide, just eerie, honestly. Which, from the looks of it, just from the only reason that Sadako was literally able to survive for all this long, and was literally just because she had a support group, and literally every single year the curse was literally Takano's entire plan to slowly and surely whittle it down. It was first Sadako's parents to try to make sure that they can't get involved, since not just because they were the people involved with the dam project, it wasn't that, because they are very they were the ones actually probably making sure that she shouldn't be allowed to be put on the product actually itself. And with the aunt and uncle, honestly, just around nearby, they wouldn't give a fucking care about what Sadako's involved in. Her parents and stepfather, which around the same time, based on literally just a Masatoshi's fragment, actually showcases that her stepdad was actually trying to get closer to her, and actually probably trying to make sure she had a good life and actually to trust him. And then the whole dam conflict thing happened, whether maybe I wonder how Sadako felt about the dam project itself, whether that actually increased or made, I guess, their conversations more tense because of the family's stance of moving away or staying home and all that, and the crossfire from the entire town slowly just making just a shooting gallery of their whole entire family and stuff like that. And that was also just why her parents decided not to get her involved in the hospital visits if they decide to remotely just talk to them and on their behalf. And then when they decided to get, I guess, Rika's involved, because Sadako was close to Rika, honestly. I'm actually trying to think of why they would want to get no, the reason why they got Rika involved is because they realized that she was technically the queen, from I wonder exactly how they managed to, I guess, even the very foot of it, just realize that Rika is important as the queen, I guess, of a hive mind, or an ant colony sort of situation, where everyone follows that, just following along with everyone's behavior about Rika, being, always being told in reverent tones, just to bring her along. Because if it wasn't for that, it wouldn't make much sense why she would be listed after, it only makes sense that Rika would be enlisted after, the aunt was killed, because then she started living with Rika, and then by that logic, you had to, let her know about what's happening with Sadako's literal roommate then, because besides Sadako's parents, literally Teppei and the aunt, whoever her name is, honestly, don't give a flying fuck about what happens to her. Satoshi was killed for it, her parents were killed for it, and the reason why Rika's parents were killed for it was because her mom technically got in the way. Distrust the mother of a queen. Results of the research on C-103 and H-107 and the truth of the Shirakawa Park accident is required. Just in the fact it's called a mother of the queen, honestly, this is going to address parts of literally just, both Sadako's parents being killed at the Shirakawa Park, and also just, Rika's mom just does not want to, literally just have any more special attention given to her own child from the looks of it. If there's another extra reason, it eludes me right now, because I'm mostly in a role just trying to think of other things right now, how this all connects, because, oh boy, there's quite a lot just sitting here and just like, trying to push and, like, prod all the little details, the fragments, rules, and all that in my brain. I'm still on the fence of whether or not fragments are literally just, actual, like, small hidden fragments that, always happen to each route, like, for example, like, every time Rika technically talked to him on Takana and all that, like, in other routes, and then there's a mixture, combination of him, later, like, timeline shifts where, like, even, like, there's even the whole thing of, like, where is it, Satoshi even remembers his own sins, honestly. Like, some of these fragments, I am actually expecting a major, like, I guess, the other best word I can put for it is a major deal breaker, or something, a different word for that, because distrust of a mother of a queen, formation of the club here, and what I think would be the most interesting to think about here, the second in the fourth sacrifice involving both of them, will be probably the biggest tips for this entire, I guess, game and series, honestly, discuss. Because it just showcases that Satoshi, by this point, by end of last year, unless timeline stuff was changed, and Hanya actually managed to go all the way back to before a year before that he goes missing and all that. By this point, that Satoshi is long dead. And if he somehow miraculously wasn't, why would they even bother to keep him around? Especially by this point, Eri would technically, like, already has the motivation to actually protect Sadako at this point, and Takano would actually pick up on that already. So there'd be no reason why to keep him around. Satoshi, or really just as a weird bargaining chip, actually, for Eri, actually. But from the sound of it, he's not even aware of it. Unless it was like a last resort. It's either he was dissected, or he's literally a blackmailing, kidnapped bargaining chip, honestly. Which are both horrible outcomes, honestly, for it. And it's so cool, I'll say again, that these are all labeled down as, again, this association game, and I call fucking slightly BS about difficulty being nothing in the beginning of this chapter. You fucking liar, Ryukishio 7. Like, there's, like, some bit of actual association you actually work with here, and some small, some small just difficulty. Like, even if it's not just nothing, just, like, easiest pinpoint one to another, there's still something there. It's still, like, a little puzzle game, honestly. It's a very simplistic one, honestly. It's all, like, oh, so good. So out of the 6, we actually have 2 more down. This one I skipped over. The dam construction operation withdrawal, and also going into literally just Sadako Hojo's introduction, honestly. Which, honestly, all this corresponds to other fragments, so we now have a linear path, honestly. So we'll start from here, go all the way back, actually, and right after we get through all the required 6 fragments, which you have to go first before you understand and, like, unlock everything else, we already have a path to another one. Something about repetition, like, repeated apologies, all from Hanyo's just repeated apology, talking about the starting feud between the Hojo family and Sonozaki family, which has already been brought up. So this is a good place to start then, right? 20 minutes long, and I think I gotta handle the tips. Unlike literally just these fragments. These are literally the tips for me now. Don't steal this from me. Don't steal this from me. By the point these episodes actually being released now, I'll already know, like, I already finished all these fragments. Just I just wanna see if my entire, I guess, ideas right without any kind of like opinion or just like something to taint my own thoughts, honestly, to put in less elegant terms. My name is Sadako Hojo, but Hojo is my current father's family name. I was also Sadako Hatake, Sadako Yoshizawa, and also Sadako Matsura because of my previous fathers. Okay, so I guessed 3 before, but now this is the 4th one. Yeah, okay, that links up the whole thing of why Sadako doesn't feel like the toss the name father around isn't that quickly, because she's already like in like looks a bit like 10 years old and already got 4 spouses, honestly. And by this point, like 4 different like fathers, honestly. Maybe a 5th one, honestly, if she doesn't like if there's another one of her actual birth fathers. So yeah. I'm still not used to being called Hojo-san. If someone calls me Sadako, then I know that person's talking to me. Oh, did Sadako literally just explain that's why everyone told Keiichi that? Or that's why just Keiichi just finds them calling her that, honestly. Who else calls her Hojo? Does anyone in the friend group actually call her that? Or just only Sadako, actually, huh? If someone calls me Sadako, then I know that person's talking to me. Because Sadako is the name I've been using since I was born. I don't understand why my mother keeps getting married and divorced. I mean, she's gonna get a divorce. Why did she get married? She's married, then why did she get a divorce? It's the cycle. I asked her before, but depending on the situation, her answers were always different. This guy cheated on me. I wasn't feeling with this guy. He didn't have money. I don't think it's that bit, but still. When I asked her why when she was married, she got angry. When I asked her after she got divorced, she cried. I don't understand the meaning of marriage. Not yet. So I have no interest in drawing pictures of a bride in a wedding dress. I don't think I'll ever get married. I don't want to keep changing my child's last name. Yeah, that's probably not a good first impression for marriage, honestly, think about it. So I'm like, My teacher once asked me to like my mother. I think it was when I was in kindergarten in Okinawa. That was a very difficult question. Because sometimes I loved her very much, and sometimes I hated her very much. I couldn't decide. My mother was nice, she smiled all the time. She made us happy. She thanked me for being her daughter. My mother wasn't nice, she frowned all the time. She treated my brother and me very poorly. She told me I should have never been born. Okay. My teacher asked me if I liked my father. That was a very easy question. Because I always hated him very much, no matter who he was. Nice, short, sweet, and simple. Nice. The new fathers always treat me nicely at first, as if I was their real daughter. They always told me I can think of them as my real father. But they couldn't be my real father. Besides, I didn't even know my real father's face. How could I call him my father? I couldn't. That was disgusting. Right before our divorce, my fathers always became very irritated with me. They treated me like a cockroach. They told me they didn't have money to feed me, they threw things at me, and they locked me out on the veranda. Okay. I was told I could forget about them because that was all in the past. I think that was a very different teacher from a different school. Well, no fucking wonder, honestly, if literally her last, her newest stepdad, no fucking wonder she also felt justified in actually calling the child consultation services. It still looked at that, and even though it looks like it just snapped the stepdad out of it a bit, it still made the impression to later on that it was a false flag then. Yay. So it wasn't entirely all a false just a false the girl who cried wolf then situation. It's not that. Maybe that's true. Ever since Hoda became a father, my mother has been smiling. I haven't seen them get into a fight as I have seen happen just before divorce. I'm assuming they were still getting along before the Shirakawa Park incident then. I have little arguments here and there, but those don't lead to a divorce, and they always make up. But I'm sure they'll get divorced sooner or later. It'll be the same old stuff with the family court, divorce settlements, a night flight, and child support. A night flight? Oh, like actually moving to town. Like, oh, does that mean like? I mean, like, it always, like, it seemed like it was implied that like, she was always in the town for a bit. Like, there was like, a few conversations of, like, who is an outsider or not, or, like, I don't even think the game even brings up, like, technically who's technically a quote-unquote outsider. And, like, the only time I guess they ever came up, actually, before now, actually, was Reina, actually, who technically was born and raised here for a few years, then moved away, and then a bunch of bad stuff happened there, and then she moved back. And you might think at first that she was an outsider, but she technically was here when she was born in, like, a toddler, honestly. So, it's actually, like, so again, Sadako was literally one of the true outsiders the whole entire time. And her and Shion, honestly, were my latch-on favorites because of all this. I would put Shion as well as, like, an attached, I guess, fourth important person, but, like, it all comes down to, I guess, her relationship to Satoshi, honestly, in which sometimes it only appears, honestly, that she has a clear big effect on Satoshi, because only in some installments, or like none at all, honestly. If like if the involvement, honestly, her involvement like is outside of 2 and 5, where she goes, I guess, a bit crazy and kills people, she doesn't seem to have an actual impact on what happens in the story, honestly. And because of that, like, it's not even a whole thing where she gets close to Satoshi and, like, they start dating, honestly, from the looks of it. Satoshi, like, was completely blind to her feelings until probably, like, and she, like, even realized that then it probably happened right before he got kidnapped, honestly. Or the whole thing just, no, we're just good old friends, and Mion, that's just her. She's just trying to trick me and all that, so, yeah, yeah. So who knows how long this Hojo will be my father? That's why I don't even, like, feel like calling him that. Yeah, by that point, I don't, like, again, don't blame him at all. Like, must be solid several years, honestly, before I would probably even do the same exact thing, honestly. Because, it's the pattern. Just, like, from the looks of it, every 2 or 3 years, honestly. And, this all happened. He also treated me well at first. But when I didn't call him father, even after he asked me repeatedly, he became irritated. Why are you trying to just force that, honestly, on the kid, honestly? Like, just to, like, be the head of the household? Yeah, get off your fucking pride trip, honestly. They'll get divorced soon. My father gets into this mood, a divorce is on the way. After divorce, and my mother's turn to be irritated with me. And she told me she shouldn't have had me, or she can't be happy because of me. Well, then, that's kind of that's, like, the mother's own fucking fault, then, honestly. Why is my existence causing problems for my mother? And this led to literally just everything that happened, both, even the, like, chapter 3, honestly, and then 7, honestly. Yeah. Everything all makes sense, honestly, and just... Man, I just realized that, like, the characters I tend to latch on quickly, whether I realize it or not, are always the one that have a lot of angst or, like, went through a lot of tragedy, honestly. And sometimes it feels like I can even sense it before it even happens. Some of my favorite characters, honestly, I literally just very first time I look at them, what they look like, their design, or just like a single word, I just go like, oh, yep, best character, love them immediately. Like, literally, there's already a few times where my absolute favorite characters, honestly, I literally just saw their design, or just their first appearance, honestly, was like, nope, immediate attachment. Same thing here with the two of them, honestly. God damn it, in this game. I asked my brother, and he told me. I guess, Well, I guess it wouldn't really count because, like, because we don't really know too much of Satoshi, so I can't even say or whether or not, like, I'm, attachment to that, because we were first told that he's dead or gone missing, so... you can't really say about that, so I'll just leave it as a no, even though I do like his character, honestly. If you have children, it's not easy to find someone to get married with. For my mother, remarriage is a very important job. So you can understand having children around will cause problems. It's an important job. What does your mom even do, honestly? I want to know, actually. I think I finally understand the reason why I'm a nuisance to her. I asked my brother something else. Why are children hated by new fathers? Well, that's simple, actually. That's because family members all have different roles. Yeah, and if you don't fall in line, apparently, then everything gets awkward and goes to shit instead of actually working things out. Yay! My mother's job is to love her children. My father's job is to love the mother. That means I'm a nuisance to both my mother and my father, then. That's simplistic roles, honestly. And did the text actually just change color for a second, actually? Is that my eyes deceiving me, or did the text turn out a bit pink? It's late at night, I'm just gonna go with that for a bit, but if it does, yes, I'm calling it. My brothers are more mature than me, so they don't look down at him as a nuisance. But maybe I am. No, I'm definitely a nuisance. So, now I know. If my mother and father want me dead. But if they kill me, they'll be caught. Doesn't mean they won't kill me. Oh, yep, okay, I knew it. I did notice that immediately. Ah! If I were to look down the cliff, if no one was around, my mother and father would push me off for sure. My father's become abnormally nice to me recently. He started to act that way ever since I made that fake call. I know for sure that's just part of a plot to kill me. So I won't let them trick me. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Then I listen very carefully, I can hear a voice apologizing. The voice sounds similar to mine. Her mother must be telling her that she shouldn't have been born. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I won't apologize like that. I'll live. I'm gonna strike back. I'll kill before I get killed. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Then it does raise doubt whether it does raise doubt, I guess, on the involvement, actually, of the Mountain Dogs, honestly. Because, the Mountain Dogs did kidnap the minister's son just to leave a bit of, to, like, instigate them, to get eyes in the damn product and actually instigate slowly that just to get rid of it ultimately for the, I guess, the Hinamizawa Syndrome product to actually continue. Whether, that actually continues on where, they actually, made the kidnapping situation to get more public eyes on it, then had the murder happen, whether they instigated it or not. Many people actually decide to, look at it, then, after the murder happened, honestly, then immediately the entire public, I'm assuming, from everywhere else in Japan, honestly, that had their eyes on it from that one politician's words, would put those couple cents in, honestly, and that's what stopped the damn product for good, honestly. It was just because of that. Whether, they actually manipulated, I guess, some of the damn construction workers or not, I guess, was seed in the sacrifice parts. Which, those are going to be interesting to go through anyway. Okay, let's see. So, we only have one more required fragment left. Damn construction operation withdrawal. So it's talking about, I guess, the beginning of, when the damn construction product was actually put into full swing then. So just literally starting at the very beginning of our timeline of when things went to shit, basically. Yay. Sorry for being late. I had an unusually large number of patients today. Oh yeah. Oh, don't worry about that, Erie, because guess what? Those are all protest people, really facing off against police and construction workers, honestly. You get a lot of injuries, honestly, from all that, from the sound of it. All from it. Thank you for coming, Lieutenant Colonel Erie. That does not stick. Stop it. Tomataki stood up suddenly and saluted when he saw Erie come into the room. Alright. Stop calling me Lieutenant Colonel. I'm a doctor. I just can't get used to military ranks. Can you call me Director instead? Understood, Director Erie. Tontaki, of course, knew that Erie didn't like to be called Lieutenant Colonel, so it was something of a joke. Look, it's a gimme, okay? They left casually together. On the other hand, Takano looked rather fed up with it. Well, guess what? This is your tiny bit of discomfort for all the fucking shit you pulled, lady. Woman. She couldn't stand hearing the same joke over and over, and was even thinking about talking to Tomataki about it. That's the reason why they started dating, just to convince him, please stop making that joke, and just keep dating him just because of that. Nothing else, honestly. That'd be hilarious. And then she changed her mind, honestly. That's... Something inconsequential that turned actually important later on are my fucking favorite tropes, honestly. I love that kind of joke, honestly. Even to... I want that as a headcanon now. I want that canonized. But she didn't want to hurt his feelings, so she simply never had the chance. And just because of how Tomotaki pronounces it, but she keeps hearing Risa, Lieutenant Colonel in Japanese. Nisa. Ah, okay. I guess that's where that comes in, honestly. Literally, that does show, like, that like, Tomotaki technically has something, a bigger, different involvement, actually. Or, like, oh. Like, he has maybe a military rank from the sound of it, honestly. If, like, you can do it, like, a mispronunciation, like Keiichi hears, honestly. Then, the whole little joke around town, like, you could maybe figure out from there. Well, if you're Japanese, like, you know, understand, I guess, different, like, military rank words, honestly, and just, normal hiragana or kanji, I'm assuming. So, yeah, okay. Once you heard it that way, she kept hearing Eerie Risa every time Tomotaki said it. Then Risa Eerie. Ah. When Takano told Eerie about it, he had a good laugh. Today was just a simple meet and greet, and tomorrow was the actual meeting. Just like him, Tomotaki slams his camera down. Look at my cool bird photos! Good God. Tomotaki had already arrived, but there would be more inspectors from Tokyo at the meeting, waiting to hear about the progress that had been made. Anyway, I heard the whole village is up in arms with the dam construction project. Yes. This is definitely not going to go anywhere special. Don't worry about it. It will blow over and tide itself over. Then, you know, the whole entire town get flooded because of it. Don't worry about it. Nothing else is going to happen. Sadly, this entire project is going to cancel. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You can say that again. The village isn't such a mess. I participated in the local municipal explanation meeting as an official, but the whole thing was alive with angry shouts and profanities. It's probably even better than I went through the explanatory meeting thing with him. Hanyo was a great participant, honestly. There first before going to this one. Context upon context. After the basic Hinamizawa dam project was announced, the village was consumed with uproar. The government had retracted their plans for concessions rather early on. Man, they can't really they can't make a fucking lemonade stand, honestly, for those concessions. God damn it. It's fucking extending to even the past before the festival is actually put into full swing. God damn it. So much loss. They made their aggressive stance clear. They didn't want the locals to take advantage of them by showing their willingness to compromise. However, that backfired horribly. As they had historical ties to the land, the government's actions only made their bonds stronger. Neither the government nor the locals wanted to back down. So a stalemate must happen then, and one side must give. People from Hinamizawa are rather hot-tempered. I wonder why. Maybe because they're descendants of demons. There's that too, which honestly I'm still like, I know the whole disease thing is now canonized and that's the whole focus now, but man, I'm still sad it's not real anymore. Again, I already mentioned it before. I'm really disappointed because the demon thing is not real. My good gosh, that would have been so cool. Even as a fantasy thing, honestly, that would have been so cool. My dreams have been shattered. It's not funny. Well, it's not meant to be funny. My dreams were shattered and crushed. The wild meetings lasted all night. I feel your pain. Really, it's not funny, Tomotaki-san. Everything's funny if you think about it. So, what's going on with the dam construction? Are they really going to submerge this village? Tokyo's applying their pressure to the situation, too. Things might seem glamorous on the surface, but in truth, the supporters behind it are wavering rather hard. The supporters behind it are wavering rather hard, okay. I hope the pressure produces results soon. The whole village is buzzing with action from dusk to dawn, and where the villagers' minds are growing agitated. Sometimes I have to listen to my patients go on and on about their opinion on the dam construction plan. Wow, very obsessive. Why do you even listen to them? You're too nice. I have to. My clinic director first and the research center director second. At least I'm, on the surface to the rest of the town. It's part of my job to listen to them. That's very nice of you. It's admirable. I know the people in Tokyo will call the plan sooner or later, but the villagers don't. So they have to live in fear they might be forced to leave the land where they lived for generations. Even if they are told to leave, they don't have money, and a lot of them are old. Maybe someone increase in the amount of compensation they'd be offered. The government can't change its mind. I don't think it's possible for them to come to a peaceful agreement at this point. There were actually some villagers who were satisfied with that amount and were willing to leave. However, the Sonosaki family didn't want to change their stance against the issue, and now I'm infighting. Yay! They're actually leading the villagers in the fight against the government. They are blaring announcement vans everywhere, and in ads and flyers attached to the circulation notices. Just imagine just some stacks of paper now just being blown over the fence of the damn construction like headquarters, honestly, and they just break in honestly and just plaster the same flyers and ads everywhere, all across the walls, the windows, the floor, the stairs, and even this fucking roof and ceiling. They break into the room, honestly, it's now everywhere. Even the equipment, they just put it right on the seat and all the controls. It's a serious matter for them. I guess I can understand. I hope the construction plan will be called up soon, for their sake. Once it's called off, the village will become peaceful once again. It'll probably be a bit before they'll lessen down again, and probably probably it's because the damming product, actually, you get a lot of different, unique results, actually. I know that, of course. Things are moving right along to Tokyo, so please give us a little more time. But in the real Japan Tokyo, or the headquarters Tokyo, this is the big distinction here, the way of the options. I've heard a rumor from Tokyo that you're having problems finding a way to pressure the Minister of Construction. Is that true? Oh, I'm not sure, but I heard myself that they're having a little problem with some of the details. Oh, they can't exactly say about I guess the product itself. Then they go in a weird loop around on us to talk about it. I guess it makes sense. Takano had powerful people supporting her, but they didn't control all Japan. She'll figure out how to do that later, honestly, in her planet, or the town gets destroyed. She'll figure out how to become Prime Minister and take over the rest of the world slowly but surely. There were some things they excelled in, but also other things that they weren't too good at. Finding a way to put pressure into the Minister of Construction fell into the latter, unfortunately. In all seriousness, though, we really won't be facing any requests to release this area because of the dam, right? Of course not. I can guarantee that won't happen. It's just taking longer than we thought, that's all. So please, continue your research, all to your heart's content. Have fun dissecting human brains when they're still alive soon enough. We were told that if things can't be resolved peacefully, then we may have to use drastic measures. Drastic measures? What do you mean, Tomotaki-san? Ah, serious face. New for Sprite. You don't need to worry about that part. Director Eerie. Please let us take care of it. I see. Okay. Thank you for your work. It's fine, Director Eerie. The dam construction plan will be called off. It's already been decided. It's already been decided. I can't believe it. It's all echoing parallel words, honestly. Yeah. And I know, I'm still, there's a part of me that's still curious, honestly, just about, the whole thing of hearing about a nickname that some people, I guess, in-universe called Eerie, just to stoke that fire, honestly. Apparently, the nickname I gave him with Eerie is close enough, but there's a part of me that's slowly, morbidly curious about what's the story behind that. As Takano giggled, Tomotaki laughed too. However, Eerie couldn't understand what was so funny, and so he felt left out. Look, if you think everything in the world is funny, you can laugh at anything, okay? Get it morbid sense of humor, okay? I find a lot of things amusing, honestly. Even, literally just someone dropping a piece of chalk or just pushing, literally just, probably sending a chalk, piece into, a blackboard, way too hard, honestly. I don't know why. It fucking just gets to me sometimes. Probably just maybe timing or something like that. I don't know. I'm easily fucking amused and in a really good mood, honestly. For a lot of different things, okay? Did I miss that last line, actually? I'd be sad if I didn't read that, actually, because I was talking about stupid amusement stuff now, gosh. But that's all the, required first fragments, actually. And I can't believe I completely forgot about saying this. This music is honestly great. Oh man, I wish I need to learn more about music theory just so I can comment more on that this music honestly, because it fits so well. It's like surreal, and like I'm almost feeling like final and deterministic, or like it's leading to a big thing of that. It really fits this occasion right now, honestly, right here. Like it's surreal and it has a little bunch of some it's the same exact things with the fragments, honestly. Like when I was first mentioned and brought up in the beginning of Installment 7, actually, Minagoroshi, honestly. It fits so well, and even though I've been, like, sitting and just processing the tips, honestly, like, work, honestly, the fragments, I'm really just gonna call them tips and fragments here, honestly. You have to get used to it, because I can't fucking, my brain doesn't work. This is really just how it is. It's all structured the same way, honestly. Music is honestly really good for this, honestly. And, all we should now have, I guess, a path to take from all the requirements, honestly. Just reading through them, what is needed for each one. Like, for example, this one. A murdered dismembered body. Wow, we're already to the first entire death. Yay. Early summer, 1979 AD. Okay, good, we're just having actual concrete years. Wow, I was listening to some pleasant sounds. Ah, okay. I'm assuming this is either the main culprit or just one of the other 4 culprits, actually. Ooh. Shit. Damn it. Shit. Manager? Manager, come on. Say something. Manager? You idiot. He's dead already. A loud noise snapped everyone out of it. So under the trouble he was holding. I'm assuming actually this wasn't actually instigated by anything, actually. But the person who went missing the very first year, actually, maybe from the sound of it, actually was, I guess, manipulated, actually. The shovel was smeared with reddish black blood. No, not just the shovel. All 6 construction workers' clothes were blood-soaked, too. One of them cried out to the silent, dead body of the manager, which was drenched in blood. Manager. Oh. Shut up. He's already dead. It was self-defense. Right? Self-defense. You're not gonna pull a 11037 out of this. Don't worry about it. Stop it. The fight had started after the manager yelled at them for drinking beer into the office. There were no drinking and no smoking signs everywhere. The manager harshly scolded anyone who broke that rule, so it was the 6 workers' fault for disobeying. They drank because they were stressed out by the anti-dam protesters. Yeah, that's why they said things to provoke the manager. They told him to step out. The others went along. The construction workers toiled hard and long hours. That's why they instigated the fight with the manager, to release their stress. They had expected to just curse each other, or to end up in a wrestling match, but things escalated. More accurately, the manager exploded all of a sudden. The manager had to deal with the residents' protests as well, so he was under just as much pressure, maybe even more. But how he changed was not normal. Oh, okay, he got infected then. The manager was calm at first, but he gradually became more aggressive, and it was like he transformed into someone completely different. No, it was like he was possessed by something evil. The men who instigated the fight sobered up when they saw his behavior. Then, the manager picked up a shovel that was nearby and tried to smash his opponent's head in with it. Okay, never mind. I take that back. You were actually kind of right, honestly. Okay, it was self-defense, actually, a tiny bit, from the sound of it. Okay, my good god, actually, never mind. Okay, I agree with that. Okay, oh my fucking god. Either he would just completely distress out and decide to fucking attack people and he wasn't affected at all, or he really was, and that explains everything, honestly. Oh my fucking god. If it was the manager, he'd be like in the town, honestly, way longer and probably be infected at some point or other, or just be drinking like contaminated water, or just like anything like that. Again, I want to know actually how the fucking like infection actually spreads, honestly. I so want to know, honestly. Because it makes things even like worse, honestly, if it comes through just like literally just some you have to be in the area to grab it and contract it, or just like just a whole thing of like breathing or bodily fluid and stuff like that. My good God. The manager kept pounding on him with a shovel, even as he frantically tried to avoid the hits. By this time, the workers had realized this was beyond a simple fight, so they tried to hold the manager down. The manager turned on them with a shovel too. Like, it's turned into a giant thing where hey, look, someone literally just tried to kill someone, and then retaliation to kill them in return, honestly. And things just grew out of there from all the anger, actually, from stress, honestly. Holy shit. One of the men tried to protect himself by crossing his arms above his head. There was no way that could have blocked a shovel swung with such force. Especially if it aimed right from, like it was I guess the sharp side of the shovel, honestly. And, that would leave a fucking nasty cut. If it was the wide end, bludgeoning weapon, but it still leaves so much, honestly. By this time, the 6 men had realized the manager was not his usual self. His manager would try to bash in their brains without hesitation. Yeah. Since their opponent was using a shovel as his weapon, they'd find some kind of weapon too. Stand up, folding chair time, wrestler, slam it against the head! One of them grabbed a huge hammer. Then the others realized they needed to find something as well. To restrain the manager in that condition, they was ready to arm themselves. By the point that they actually, by the time they killed the manager, actually, it just turned into a whole thing, twisted him away to try to protect themselves and actually hide the crime, actually. Huh. I don't entirely fault him for the first half, actually. Especially all that happened, because if you're in that kind of situation, you better like actually fucking then protect your life then if you're being slighted like that. Like, that's probably a bad way to put it, but yeah, being like targeted to get killed, yeah. Adrenaline kicks in, and yeah, I don't blame them for that part. How did the whole thing with the kind of the body pieces then go in the way? It was like one person then was blamed for the, I guess, the plan, the entire thing, or didn't they mention like only one person was targeted as it was his plan, and the police equated to him, it was that guy's plan to, be the one to kill the manager then. Huh. Twisting of words then. It wasn't supposed to be this way. It didn't take that long for the madness to infect the 6 workers. It was only a matter of time before they went from restraining him to lynching him. By the time they realized what had happened, the manager was already a lump of meat. His face was swollen, shards of skin had been torn off, and his muscles and skull were visible too. Like, honestly, if they all had got a weapon to defend themselves and then like all attacked all at once, that's probably exactly when he died. And then when they kept going because they were still hyped up and in fear, honestly, what happened, honestly, since he's attacking everyone, they probably then took it too far in their adrenaline rush, honestly. And by that point, they kind of realized they literally can't spin this away as self-defense, honestly, because of both who they are, their roles, honestly, and then the outside technical protests and mobs, honestly, everywhere, and then the state of the body itself. Because nothing, like, I guess, changes your perception of the killer, just how messed up a victim is, honestly. If besides everything else, they were technically normal, or some people actually perceive them as friendly and all of that. I'm talking about you, Oishi, honestly. Oh, good God. Oh, there's gonna be like a declaration of his war, honestly, is one of the requirements for one segment, so probably when it talks about the Shirakawa Park incident, maybe like it was shown in one of those tips, or like something related to him here, honestly, is when we're gonna hear that a bit. Maybe around the time the press was told to, I guess, go into silent treatment, or just a giant silent treatment, I guess, for the next few years of the curse, honestly. That's when he declared war. The manager's face is swollen, shards of skin had been torn off, and his muscles and skull were visible too. Obviously, he was quite dead. Nah, don't worry about it. He's still alive. He's just, like, sleeping right now. He'll wake up soon enough and turn to a zombie. Fuck! He almost killed us, remember? If he hadn't attacked us, we wouldn't have fought him, right? No, I do agree with that, though. The leader of the 6, the one who instigated the fight, tried to bring the rest to his side, but nobody replied. And so the leader became frustrated. Oh, so he's the one who instigated, I guess, the argument, but it didn't escalate to him, literally just out of nowhere, just him, shovel to face. So it's technically the manager's fault for just, like, escalating to that? Especially if it comes down to him, really actively killing someone, honestly. I think a bit of bets are off, honestly, just how I look at it. He was the one who started the fight, the rest simply joined in. He was the main perpetrator. Maybe that was why he's feeling so exasperated. He sensed that he was the one at fault. Don't just stand there like a limp noodle. It's too late. We killed him, and there's nothing we can do about it. We're all murderers now. Buck up. You ain't thinking about turning yourself in and doing time, are you? Fuck you. I can't get a slimmer my age. We're hiding it. We're hiding this corpse and pretending nothing happened. Someone knew he was on probation for assault incident once before. Oh yeah, that probably does it actually even more too, honestly. Not even just you have a clean slate, so yeah. So if he got trouble into the law again, the punishment would be more severe than they could imagine. And that is why he's trying so desperately to find a way out. If he was alone with the manager's body, then he wouldn't have behaved this way. All he would have to do was hide the manager's body and pretend nothing happened. Yeah, there's 6 of them, including him. They are partners in crime and witnesses now too. If even one of them turned himself in out of guilt, he'd be in big trouble. That led to him on that whole thing. Okay. Well, there's a tiny bit of, I guess, character building, which led to that. That's also kind of cool. But even if we hide the body, they'll find out sooner or later. Let's chop it up. Just the whole thing. Just, yeah, just hide it away. Or, eat the corpse now. Instead, we should plead justifiable self-defense and they might end up pardoning us. From what little I know of Japanese legal system, I doubt it'd ever fly. Don't be so stupid. Look what we've done. Look at his face. Who would think this is a result of self-defense? His parents won't even be able to identify him in this condition, you idiot. But if we even hide it, if everyone's gonna find out tomorrow morning when the manager doesn't show, it's hopeless. What's hopeless is your damn brain, you shithead. He saw the other man in the face. The leader had such an evil look in his eyes. Listen well, dipshits. We're all murderers here, okay? It's a group activity now. Keep griping now, and we'll all get slammed with 5 or 6 years. I don't think from the brutality of this, I would think it'd be longer than that. Like, at least in the US, honestly. It's like almost a life sentence from the sound of it, so Just one of you here try and blab. We'll all be locked up. Don't underestimate the pen. The pen? What, the pen? If you're prepared to be caught anyway, then run like your life depends on it. You can resign yourself to it later when it's time to pay the piper. The piper? Okay. His visitors be turned even more and more demonic. It was the same expression the manager had just a few minutes before. Was he possessed with the same thing that possessed the manager? Nah, don't worry about it. It's a completely separate thing, honestly. Same origin, though, of a virus, but still different thing. Different tentacle individual virus, but you know what I mean. And the 5 men started to think that way. Now that they considered it, all the villagers in the anti-dam protests had that same expression on their faces, too. The real name of Hinamizawa was Onikafuchi Village. People said that wicked demons lived there, and sometimes they possessed people. Man, again, demons weren't living among the people, they were living in the people. Ugh. The men couldn't help but to recall that exaggerated story often told by the demonstrators. The manager swung the shovel after his expression changed to a demonic one. There was no guarantee that this man wouldn't do the same. In fact, he was still squeezing the hammer in his hand, glaring at everyone and threatening them. If someone suggested surrendering, he probably smashed their head in with it. Yeah, it's turning into another thing here. Oh, this music's back, honestly. Okay, this is actually kind of like... Again, this is also another, like, good horrific track, honestly. This is for, like, I guess, even more extreme occasions, honestly. And the goddamn bell again. I know. To make sure nobody betrays the rest, I have an idea. He'll make it easier to hide the body, too. What is it? We're gonna cut the body into 6 pieces. What? They all want to object to the idea. Killing him was a serious crime in itself. Dismembering the body would be too much. But if anyone objected, they'd be killed on the spot. That's what they thought, honestly. So no one said anything. We'll all come together. Remember what the manager used to say? Teamwork! Yeah, it's a team effort, guys! Own it together! One for all. Yeah. We're all in this together. We'll each take a body part and hide it responsibly. Responsibly? What do you think, huh? That's like we're all equally guilty, right? Just share the blame with all your fellow friends and all amigos. Don't worry, it's all be fine. I won't let anyone give themselves up. Oh. The 5 men were all taken in by his ghastly face. They could even feel the fear the Onikafuchi demons creep up their backs. They can feel it rumbling through their bloodstream. It's slowly trickling their way into their heart and up to their brains. They now truly become the demons, or at least a quarter of it. 1/4 demon and 3/4 human is still a good percentage, honestly. There goes that. So from here, honestly, I read through all the tip requirements again, but just going from here, then I'll just need to parse through each one to figure out where to go from next, actually. Let's see. A dose experiment is probably way later on, actually. So, probably need to find something around an L5 stage patient dissection is required. Like, between this and that, whether I'm, I guess Sadako being chosen, or like, her hospitalization at some point, actually, like right here. Satoshi Hojo's sister must refuse his visit to the clinic. There's a tip here, or tip fragment here about that. Somewhere. There's a fever talk about there. Cerebrospinal fluid. I'm probably mispronouncing that again. The death of damn construction site is manager required. That's actually the next best thing, actually. The old guy. Oh, yep. It's probably here as Declaration of War comes to play. I don't know what to say. I want to say something, but I can't think of the right words. I can only sigh. Ah, Oji-san. I've been looking for you. The section manager asked me about the wanted poster. Be quiet. It's a place of rest. As Kumagai barged into the room, the old coroner quickly snapped back at him. Sorry. The section manager asked me about the wanted poster for the suspect. That's the person who went missing then. Can you talk to Kumiyama-kun about that? I need to speak to the coroner here. Could you tell him I'll be right over? Okay. Kumagai ran out of the autopsy room in the same haste he entered in. This is probably going to be a lot for him, honestly. Lively, isn't he? The old man would have slept him for making such a fuss. You probably should go back too. The air in here isn't for people who are used to it. You're right. If I slack up too long, I might get slept as well. Here in Chichibone, all the hoodlums cross the street when you pass through. Yet he's the only one, past or future, who's ever punched you for splitting your sumo wrong. Sumo? He really was a merciless man. I think he punched me more than my real father. Doesn't matter if he was your real one or not. You looked up to him in the same way he really was a father to you. Ooh, oh. That makes things worse. My real father passed away in Nagoya. He was unlucky. Okay, what happened? If he wasn't given the order to move to a planet in Nagoya, he wouldn't have died in an air raid. Oh, war-related stuff, okay. If he could have rode it out another half a year or so, then the war would have been over. That was sad, of course. But I was grown up enough by then that I didn't cry into the ground like my mother did. But people feel sadness different ways. Trauma affects differently. For some people, it comes all at once as an overwhelming wave, but others feel sadness gradually, for a long period of time. I think I was the latter. When he was alive, I only thought of him as annoying. In my mind, I even cursed him with questions about why he avoided the draft. I thought my feelings towards him would always be the same. Then the war ended. I saw families and friends being reunited with joy as they came home from the front. It finally happened. I grieved for my father's death. Japan was filled with people who were sad and full of despair. I knew I wasn't the only one whose life ended up that way. But I remember I was very, very heartbroken. After the war, the nation completely changed. As a policeman, The environment I worked in went through some changes too. In order to forget my sorrow, nothing I could do was to devote myself to my work. At the time, I was in charge of busting people for buying rice illegally. I conducted spot checks on travelers at major train stations, and boy did I find a lot of them. There was a fairly big black market in Gogura. A lot of people came from as far as Osaka to buy it. After the war, Japan faced a chronic shortage in food supply. Fucking rice, we had to steal it all apparently. To those ends, the nation instituted a food rationing program by signing the Food Control Act. I think I vaguely remember hearing about it before at some point. Huh. But the rations the government provided weren't even close to being enough to feed families. Therefore, people had no choice other than buying food and supplies in the black market. That's going to... Okay, so that goes into legal gray territory where, that goes to a lot of gray territory, honestly, where people had actually to fucking steal to actually survive. Because, the aid they're getting is not working at all. The government hardly had enough food for rations, but there was somehow plenty in the black market. Okay. Alright then. The dealers there sold at outrageous prices, and some of them became quite wealthy. The Celestial family made their money through that black market, but that's another story. Okay, so that probably leads to another reason why I don't like the family then so much. Okay. Yeah, Oyashiro strikes me as a type just always follow letter of law no matter what, honestly. Even though sometimes, technically, I don't always agree with that. Again, like, literally some laws literally just make things worse, and it's clear to tell, honestly, looking back in history, okay? There's that whole thing. Yeah. The government didn't bother arresting those dealers. For with their money, they were able to buy off the top members of the police department. Instead, they decided to go after the people who buy the goods, and even confiscate the rice they bought by selling everything they owned. Holy shit. Yeah, I remember that. Wasn't there a prosecutor who starved himself to death? Yeah, there was. The prosecutor who vowed not to eat illegal rice starved to death. Wasn't it in 1947? So literally, it was technically impossible from even a prosecutor, for the sound of it, is a high-paying job. They starved to death because they didn't want to do anything illegal then. My good god. That was horrible. How did everyone else survive? How did everyone else survive then if everything was just everything was all spick and span then? Since some people actually get corrupt on us and all that, and oh boy, now this part of me just wants to look into I guess other parts in history, like the Great Depression and all that. Like, how did people like back then survive, honestly? Because all history I learned about that in like the U.S. honestly is just some big broad sweeps, honestly. And now I'm just sitting here just realizing I don't think I ever, like, if we were taught about it, I don't remember what actually got got everyone out of the Great Depression era. The only thing that comes to mind, actually, is, I don't even think, actually, is a cause. It was just a fun fact I learned, just, that, the American government decided to, highly invest into cheese products and dairy products, into farmers, honestly, just to boost the economy and actually, make some kind of money in food, honestly, for people to get. And to the point, there's, like, giant, like, caves of, cheese the government bought just to stimulate, I guess, the farmer's market, and just so, there's really just whole section of caves that are blocked up, honestly, just filled with them raw and melted cheese, honestly, probably by this point. Ugh. Well, that's why I'm the U.S. likes cheese apparently so much, honestly. That was the best fun fact I ever learned in history, if that's true, honestly. My good god. Yeah, there was. The prosecutor who vowed not to eat illegal rice starved to death. Wasn't it in 1947? That was horrible. He, a public prosecutor, proved himself that people couldn't survive by adhering to the law. That prosecutor had grown tired of the government charging people doing whatever they could to survive. He proclaimed that he was never going to buy black market rice again. In 1947, he started death when he was only in his mid-30s. The law prohibited people from buying black market rice. Yeah. But that was the only way to survive. In that case, was the Food Control Act a bad law in itself? The death of the prosecutor was seen as a desperate message to the government about the injustice of that law. We rounded up people with bags of rice and lined them up at a temporary inspection point next to the station. It was like a military tribunal. We inspected their bags and confiscated everything they bought at the black market. Wait, how can you even tell if they were bought at the black market and some of it is actually a normal rice, actually? How do you tell? Like, it's just, oh, don't worry, officer, this little weird, little check, like, X mark right here, and, like, permanent black marker on the very bottom of the burlap bag of the rice. That means it's illegal. It's the bad rice. Confiscate this. Is that literally what it is? Or, like, something about the rice itself actually is noticeable. You can tell it's black market. How exactly would you be able to tell? The woman all cried. They sold everything they owned to buy the rice. They pleaded that if we confiscated that rice, how would they feed their starving children? Doesn't make sense, huh? They forbade you from going into the cellars, so it was absolutely unfair from the view of the people. Yeah, probably stuff like this honestly leads to both distrusting the police in some cases. Yeah. Even now, in present day. Everyone was on edge. They heard a police inspection was set up at the next station. They jump off the train and run. We were aware of those people, so we set up several officers near jump-off spots in order to capture them. I remember chasing after a woman carrying several kilos of rice on them. Oh. That was when I first met the old man. And now, that's how you met them. It's just now just I can imagine, like, some confiscated rice that some officers, like, are tasked in their job to do, honestly. I can imagine some of them, like, when they get even more desperate, like, they just take that and just take it home for themselves, honestly. My dear God. Man, I was surprised. Remember my father? I look exactly like him. I really thought that maybe my father had miraculously survived the air raid in Nagoya. They're chasing a man who was running away from the inspection point. There's no way for him to run with a heavy bag of rice on him. Old man, I don't even know your name is. That's your cue to slowly eat every single grain of rice and just shovel handfuls, honestly, into your gullet, honestly. The less rice is on hand, the less, your sentence would be. It makes sense. So either he get arrested with illegal rice or escape by ditching the rice that he bought by selling all of his belongings. In other words, if a person is being chased by the police, that person can't provide his family any rice to eat. And they can't buy anything else, and they all start to death anyway. Of course, I felt guilty about that. I knew people had to buy the rice to survive, so we had tacit agreement to let those who ditched the rice and ran get away. So I always saw the same thing as I chased him. Please throw it away. I didn't want to catch him, because I didn't want to hear him crying and pleading distress. It was when the old man showed up. He looked exactly like my dead father. Oh, I thought the person you were chasing after was it. Okay. I was dumbfounded. All of a sudden, he punched me in the head. My father disciplines you? As a child, you lower your head in apology. I was so happy to see my father alive that I couldn't hold my joy in. The old man said, "Let him go." When I heard his voice, I realized it was my father. So I thought I'd arrest him for assaulting a policeman. But a young man, like me, who barely grown any hairs yet, was no match for an older man used to fighting. Yeah, he sure taught me a lesson. He gave me a good scolding in the middle of the street after I was all beat up. Who would even listen to him, right? But something struck me then. I kept seeing my father in him. All I could do was listen. Yeah, he was a ruffian, but he showed his guts, like a real man. That's what made him such a great guy. You don't see men like him nowadays. He was a true example of a man from the good old times. Despite my age, I still need a father. I need someone to look up to, and to show me what makes a man a man. When I think about it, I really did have two fathers. The old man was a father, a brother, my best friend. He had so many roles, honestly, in this little family. And now, here he lies, his head, body, arms, and legs all dismembered, and his right arm has been found. What exactly did the mountain dogs actually do with that, then? And if they weren't the ones who actually found him, captured that worker, then where the fuck did he go? And where did the arm go, honestly? He taught me how to be a man, how to enjoy alcohol, how to play mahjong, and with that right arm, he gave me a good beating when I did something wrong. But that right arm is still missing. Do you have any suspects? Yeah, of course. I saw up on the old man's right arm and pay them back for what they'd done to him. just slowly just lift that dismembered arm and honestly just turn right back around to the killer and just close the arm's fist and sock him in the face with it. By running Hinamizawa from the shadows and inciting this collective crime they call the dam protests, the Sonozaki family. But I declare war within myself. I already know who my enemy is. That leads to that, honestly. Especially since they take credit for everything that happens from a show of power, so yeah. I did actually like that story, honestly, of I guess how they met too is actually kind of cool. Man. Character motivations are really good, honestly. I'm probably to me, at least so far, because there's a lot of few missing pieces, and maybe just I'm maybe just not as interested as Amir Kano as a villain. It's probably just how I am, honestly, because I'm again with the whole thing is massive conspiracy which I have to wrap my head around, and just a sudden appearance of stuff of clues honestly found out in the answer arcs maybe is leading to my, I guess, underwhelming response towards her. And also just I guess again with the whole thing of she's done some horrible stuff, honestly, and just realizing just we just sympathize with her a tiny bit. Oh, fine, I'm not gonna like it though. That kind of feeling, honestly. Yeah. Probably leaves it all that sort of apathetic feeling towards her a tiny bit. Because even if it's gonna go into more just why her motives have changed to kill the entire town itself, at least get a sort of explanation for that in some way. My opinion's probably not gonna change, honestly. Just taking her. Well, I guess I was gonna say not all too seriously, but that's not the right wording, honestly. Just I guess I guess a better way is I guess more invested. It's probably just because right now I'm still trying to even just piece things together, honestly, of how she's meant to be shown off and portrayed, honestly, right now. So that was the declaration of war that he said before. Where did it say about that? Okay, the minister, the kidnapping of the minister's grandson has to be brought before a bat. What was it? Declaration of war from Kata Oishi is required here. Okay. Then an execution order for the third year's curse is required. So, yeah, we just need that to get to this. That's the Rika's parents, the couple, then. Then where it comes that into play. Queen Kira must be willing to participate. That's where Rika, is asked about joining the I guess, the project researching the disease, and it all comes to this. I think we actually have with this. A conflict between the Hojo family and Sonozaki family is required. We have that from the assembly hall meeting with Hanyo, apologizing for the tragedies going to follow then afterwards. And then the required thing of, Sadako literally talking about herself. Very pointedly so. It's talking about the Hojo siblings then. I guess the dynamic would happen at home then. The Hojo family is well known for going against the whole village during the dam conflict. Both the husband and the wife were rather aggressive, and they fought a fierce battle, especially against the Sonozaki family. Although the whole village treated them coldly, the husband and wife didn't really care and kept on fighting. In a way, they were extremely strong-willed people. I'm sure the children had to go through a lot because of them now. I'm assuming this is actually where we get to learn, I guess, how they actually feel about their family being the center of the rising hostility in the town itself. Sadako-chan and Satoshi-kun were treated coldly by the villagers as well. In addition to that, Sadako-chan and her stepfather didn't get along, so their stress levels must have reached their limit. Yeah, figures. Oh, okay. Because I'm the director of the local clinic, rather respected member of society, people usually tell me a lot of things. So I was aware of the treatment they were receiving even before I met them. I met Satoshi-kun first. Satoshi-kun came to the clinic because he felt ill from too much stress. Yay, anxiety. He must have thought he had a cold. When I examined him, he even told me that. But hearing his repeated sighs, my seeing exhausted look in his eyes, I knew right away it wasn't just a simple cold. Medication would heal his symptoms. That'd only be a temporary measure. The way to truly cure him would be to change his living environment. Yay. That was easier said than done. He was surrounded by a tangled and complicated relationship webs with the village and his family. Such resting for a few days and taking some medication wouldn't do. Time was the only thing that could ease up the cold and treatment of the villagers, but we were talking a very, very long time. And time is really on the side here, honestly. That's why I felt I had to be the first ally in this village so I could rescue them. I couldn't do anything about the stressful environments, but I could try to diminish the anxiety. So the best way was to teach him how to vent his stress. And playing sports is the best way to do that. Ah, that's where, I guess, the whole thing came to play then. On his first meeting, then? Okay, that's interesting. I would figure, like, after a couple more meetings, maybe, like the clinic or something like that, or, like, all that are becoming... Well, I guess he's not really nervous, honestly, the school, honestly. He just knows the way around the place because the... Becoming, like, a little league, I guess, I'm a coach, honestly. Or is he actually the nurse there? Is actually designated school nurse there, actually, or no? Is he really just the next best thing, actually? Okay. So I asked him to join the junior baseball team that I coach. It's your new first... it's your new first surname now. As a researcher, I devote most of my time to Hinamizawa Syndrome, but I, too, need to do something else to relax. I used to play baseball, so I decided to coach the local kids team. After a while, the children of Hinamizawa started their own baseball team, and somehow, I became their coach. Who's the mascot? What is the mascot? I need to know. Doctors can't provide health just by giving medication. You need a sound mind and a sound body. Just... No, just getting your mind to you know, a triangle, like that musical instrument, just use a little staff and just tap against someone's body and just start ringing, honestly. Sound body. My god. I'm in an amusement phase now. I believe health can be maintained through sports as well. Our team needed more people, so I thought of asking Satoshi-kun to join. Being a bookworm, Satoshi-kun wasn't interested in playing sports. He wasn't sure how joining this baseball team would help his situation. I need to go on and on about athletic medicine, explain why sports help people become healthy. Vent your anger by channeling this righteous fury into that swing of the baseball bat, and then ricocheting and making that giant home run with that baseball, and you just struck out again, Satoshi. God damn it. I just wanted him to experience it himself to realize how great it feels to play sports. I think he realized it gradually. He was reluctant to the very end. He attended all the team activities and games. As I saw Satoshi-kun slowly regain his liveliness, I realized my plan worked. So he joined right when the dam conflict happened. Like, over the several years straight, actually. Huh. However, Satoshi-kun was under that much stress. Then Sadako-chan, who lived in the same family climate, must have felt the same way. Unfortunately, I didn't think of her back then. How dare. When Sadako-chan was carried into my clinic as a patient, I regretted doing nothing about her even while knowing the situation. As Satoshi-kun recovered under my guidance, Sadako-chan was left alone in her stressful environment. Also around that time, there was an incident bad enough to make Sadako-chan collapse. Oh, maybe this led to a hospitalization then. That was, of course, her parents' deaths. Yeah. And now they're trying to add some doubt whether it was a whole hitman job or just it was just an actual accident or was actually Sadako murdering them. All the way to the end, huh? It's gonna be fucking funny if, honestly, each and every single, like, death is actually a different method. This was just a coincidence. This was actually deliberate murder. This was actually just an accident. This is a conspiracy, and, you know, the fifth one, it's a combination. My good god. It was a day to celebrate victory of the dam construction project. It's understandable they would plan a family trip around the time so they could leave the village. Sadako-chan's parents fell off the cliff at the park they were visiting. Happened such an unlucky day. Because it happened the day of Nagashi, people said it was the curse of Oyashiro-sama. People label the Hojo family as one that was cursed by Oyashiro-sama. The parents are given the cold shoulder by everyone in the village. So with their parents gone, Toshi and Sadako should have been freed from that, but unfortunately the accident happened the day of Nagashi. So the members of the Hojo family continue to be shunned. Sadako-chan was the only one who was the site of the accident. Satoshi-kun didn't go on the trip because he had a event with the baseball team. Look at that! Wow. Therefore, the police mainly interrogated her. And he didn't suspect her at all from the sound of it, or just like because of maybe blind rage to the Sonozaki group. Here's that bias then. Either it was an accident, or Sadako did murder them. But like, Detective Oishi suspected an act of organized crime by the village. So as Sadako-chan as the only witness in sight, he drove with her questions. She was a stressed Satoshi-kun, perhaps even more, so of course she couldn't take it. During the interrogation, she began to wheeze and gasp for air. The anguished look I saw on Sadako-chan's face when she was carried into the clinic was very, very tragic. For my heart just to imagine what she had to go through. Coach, is Sadako okay? Yes, don't worry. She's a bit confused, but only temporarily, that's all. May I see her? She finally fell asleep, so I'd rather not wake her up just yet. Let's just let her rest for a while. Let's rest in the lobby. Maybe it's a good idea to have her stay here for a few days, too. Don't worry. I'll take good care of her. Thank you. I know Satoshi-kun is a great big brother who truly cares about his sister. He emphasizes deeply with her. In other words, Satoshi-kun's worries and stress were reflecting Sadako-chan herself. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but while Satoshi-kun was, of course, sad about his parents' deaths, he may, at the same time, have been a little relieved that they were gone. His sister wouldn't have to be driven to a corner anymore. Like Satoshi-kun, Sadako-chan didn't have the social skills to get along with her stepfather. But putting her mother aside, I was certain that losing her father, the greatest cause of stress in her life, would bring great change to her home environment. And I couldn't believe what happened next. The two were sent to live in an even worse environment with their aunt and uncle. Well, at the time, I was optimistic, thinking this new environment would be better for the siblings. Yeah, quickly dash, though. That's probably, like, leading to the hospitalization, then? And from the sound of it, I guess, there's a secret, choice of, like, maybe setting Sadako up to be the dissection person, but then that was rejected then because of that. Look at that, look a little L shape, honestly, because of all this. So that was her hospitalization for requirement then. Or is it, what's it telling Hojo Satoshi was required? Again, I just feel weird that I'm Satoshi Hojo, then Hojo Satoshi. Again, feels weird, honestly. It's probably the only time I bring this up, honestly. All that. Okay. We haven't learned a single thing about Riku's parents these tips so far, which we can't really use that. Raw candy, nope. Okay, Ryugu's family's move. That leads, I guess, more sooner to him, or like the year that the aunt dies and he goes missing then. Or capsule. And I'm pretty sure, like, well, there's one question I had, like, I'm thinking back of June 1983 here of Keiichi Maebara changing schools is required, like a tip around that, and now I'm just sitting here wondering, a few times that Rika mentioned that Keiichi never showed up to the town actually itself. Was there technically a time that maybe he actually still, like, he didn't do the BB gun incident thing? Where, like, he shot at kids, honestly, to vent out some kind of his frustrations, actually? And then, his family wouldn't be tempted to, like, I guess, move and have a fresh start somewhere? If that didn't happen, or he just, because, like, everyone remembering things, actually, slowly, actually, he just realized that and decided not to do it, or just decided to hold back on that kind of stuff, and still stay in the town, actually, that lead to all that happening. What actually, like, I'm curious, like, how Kei's presence actually makes sure that every single time those things happen, without I guess, Teppei coming back, honestly, making Sadako's life hell, then what makes, Keiichi's, I guess, absence actually make things, I guess, worse, I guess, Rika's opinion, then? Is it just because, just that, she said that it might disappear, and, he can't, I guess, level things out, or just, can't be the help, honestly, or just, things just become worse without his presence there, actually. Probably gotta come back and also those 10 special ones later, when all these are drilling down. And this thing is gonna goddamn, like, kill me until we find a tip that actually talks about goddamn strawberry milk cream candy stuff. My good god. So that was okay. What tip actually was it again? Just a small refresher then. Talking about the hospitalization, maybe look around for there was one fragment tip talking about it. Where was it? Not him. Satoshi Hojo's sister must refuse his visit at the clinic. Okay, no, we don't know anything about that just yet. We already got these two. So we already got the second part of his responsibilities as Big Brother is required. A bet to beat her death is not there yet. Results of that has not been showcased up. Where's the Shirokawa Park incident that says that? There's that. I guess that leads to some other ones here, actually, so, Research needs to have hits per snag. Instructions for the kidnapping have to be there, too. We still haven't found that anywhere, talked about that at any point. Death, a hospital construction site is found. Hospitalization, a Sadako Hojo is required. A live specimen for research is required. A tread to the damn construction site is required. Well, I don't know if we technically have, like, they talked about the live specimen being found by the hospital in that one tip, actually, that Takano was going to talk about that, but we don't really have a confirmation of, like, them actually experimenting on whoever that person is, whether it's Sadako or not. Assuming it actually came out, It came out a year after that, and, I don't think it was her, like, that was chosen that from the timing of it all. Since, her hospitalization came about, I think it, like, pretty much... No, it happened, like, it happened, like, a year... Like, it happened, like, a few months after the damn construction site, because, like, that's the same day, when she got hospitalized, like, was the second year with her parents dying, so... For the sound of it, the first, I guess, brain dissection they had was maybe around the first murder with the damn construction manager, or before it, so it can't be her then, but... Do we have the specification for the live specimen part? I'm gonna look for anything else and try that actually next then. We don't have test results for Sadako yet. Discontinuation of Sadako's dissection plan, nope. We already had the motive to become a doctor is there. Third year's curse, Oyashiro-sama, we doubt we have that. Rika's probably being marked as opportunist is required, don't have that. Rika's one suspicion is required, no. The death of the hospital construction manager is required, the hospitalization of Sadako Hojo is required. We technically have those two, but now I'm just wondering if, like, since the, like, just because my fucking in my brain is just, we gotta do these in order, god damn it, that might we goes to this and that, Okay, do we have anything else for live specimen? No, we don't have L5 stage patients dissection required, so I'm gonna assume we don't have that, but we can do this, looks like. We have the death of the construction site manager in the hospitalization of Sadako Hojo. So, they mentioned that too, so that's supposed to be it. One of them anyway, yep. Satoshi Kon is a good brother who takes great care of his sister. He went to visit Sadako-chan straight to school and kept encouraging her to get better every day. Not even hearing Satoshi Kon's stories, it's obvious to me that Sadako-chan never had a good relationship with her step-parents. She especially didn't get along with her stepfather. Sadako-chan even called a child abuse hotline once. Not only that, her parents ended up dying in an accident, so just wasn't able to withstand all that damage. Sadako-chan is still very young. Everything must have been horrible for her to go through. Fortunately, she has a wonderful brother. Emotional wounds are hard to heal, but nothing heals those wounds better than love from family members. I'm sure that one day, Sadako-chan will be able to smile again. She's still in shock, but when she talks to Satoshi-kun, she smiles a little bit. Always from the police department keeps requesting to see her. I think I need to protect her for just a little longer. While he's passionate about his job, I wish he'd be a touch more sensitive. Yeah, reminder of the third chapter, gripping Keiichi's shoulders and all that, and Lily just intimidating him, honestly, just first meeting him. Yeah. He reminds her of her parents' accident, that her emotional wounds will start to open again. That's the one point I worry about with Sadako-chan. There's someone knocking the door. It was Takano-san. Doesn't look right, wearing a nurse's uniform like that. What? She's a licensed doctor, so she should wear a white coat and act like one. Maybe this is fun for her. but I think she might be insulting the real nurses. Oh, okay then. I didn't say anything though. Dr. Erie, may I talk to you? Oh, yes. Well, Satoshi-kun, if you'll excuse me. Oh, sure. Hello, Satoshi-kun. Please keep Sadako-chan company. She's always alone, so I bet she's lonely. Okay, she's always alone, so it means she's lonely. Yes, that makes sense. Logically, anyway. Oh, no, that's not true. My good god. Okay, Satoshi-kun, you're in charge. I go up and let Satoshi-kun take over. Did something happen? Not right here. Let's go to your office. Takana smiled meaningfully. Usually smiles bring happy feelings. But when it comes to Takana-san, that's rarely the case. Oh, did she actually start talking about it? Okay. I thought so. Are you sure? Yes. Initial test results show there's a possibility she's at L3 or above. We need to keep her here and run some more tests. Results aren't in yet, but from what I can see, it's very possible that she's at L4. Takana's eyes sparkle in a weird way. Finally, results! There's a reason for that. For us, finding patients in the terminal stage is a valuable boon to our research. In fact, as a result of dissecting the murder suspect from last year, we've made great progress in our research. In other words, we finally managed to isolate the pathogen. Yeah, look at that. Yes, it's fucking confirmed. They fucking found him. It's fucking there. Like, they weren't the one that instigated him the first murder, but they fucking got they fucking got him, the fucking murder suspect. It all comes together a full circle. Yeah. In other words, we finally managed to isolate the pathogen. Yeah, work with me, mouse. We also discovered that when the host dies, the pathogen melts away within a few hours. Literally just like cotton candy in water. Once that happens, it's undetectable. And that's why we never find the pathogen when we performed autopsies. Yeah. Our research made a lot of progress with that. We found this past year has been easily surpassed with the late Dr. Takano found in decades. We're now studying the nature, the effect, and the symptoms of the pathogen, as well as treatments and vaccines. What's that about then? Does that technically mean that the main culprit actually went to the hospital, got found at the hospital, and then the mountain dogs actually took over and hid, I guess, his admittance into the hospital? Huh. That's probably the easiest way out they can find it, instead of just randomly stumbling upon him in the middle of the woods. So, yeah. Huh. We're now studying the nature, the effect, and the symptoms of the pathogen, as well as treatments and vaccines. In other words, a living specimen who's at the terminal stage is a necessity for our research. However, we rarely find a patient who's gone that far, who's reached L5. Hinamizawa Syndrome once created a huge number of L5 patients, but today doesn't have such potency. Because that way to secure L5 patients, or patients who are close to reaching L5 as quickly as possible. Sadako-chan possibly qualifies to be that next sacrifice. To keep this strange disease a secret, we can't let patients who have maybe at L5 go. We either run more tests first, then we'll figure out what to do next. In any case, Sadako-chan seems so calm. Her behavior is nothing like the man from last year. Initial tests are in error sometimes. We'll have to wait for the results of the more detailed tests to determine how serious your condition is, and that goes to another requirements of other fragments then. Fragment tips. Okay. Let's admit her for observation. Please let the staff know to get things ready. That's like a formal answer, but if the results come back positive, that will be the green light for a dissection. I don't know Sadako-chan that well, but I know her brother, Satoshi-kun, for the baseball team for a long time. How can I dissect the apple Satoshi-kun's eyes? I can feel scary images flashing in my head for the first time. Don't worry. Everything is already taken care of. She smiled as if telling me the dissection is already being prepared for too. Is it just her who's smiling? Am I smiling like her too? Just reach up to your face and touch your lips then to figure out if you're smiling then. When I dissected that man last year, I did feel guilt beforehand. Once I started, it's like I was in paradise. Oh yay, you like the lobotomies! All the pieces of the puzzle that were left by the late Dr. Kano fell into place. At the same time, they didn't. Oh, how exciting it was. And that we're the first ones to take the first steps to solve a mystery, that is. I don't even know how to solve this feeling to those who have never experienced it. There's no way to describe it with words. The only thing I can say is that even a year later, I still remember it vividly. So the results show that Satoshi-kun's beloved sister is being dissected. Can I control myself? Can I stay calm? But that means I'm a failure of a human being. I know very well that Hojo family was treated poorly by the villagers, and I know what Sadako-chan has to go through. Also, I know Satoshi-kun loves his sister, who is his one and only blood relative. How can I decide Sadako-chan use my research as an excuse? I didn't feel much guilt for the man from last year, but I feel unbearable guilt towards Sadako-chan. It means what I did last year was very sinful then. I don't care if a stranger dies. I don't want Sadako-chan to die. That's not right. All lives are equally precious. I try to convince myself that he was a violent murderer, but maybe he only became that way because he was at terminal stage, and also maybe a very heavy stress. I don't know anything about him before he became deranged. Maybe he's a model citizen who was worthy of respect. Except for that one assault record, but we don't have any details about how that went to came to be, so that was just been a giant misunderstanding too, honestly. So a hand waves up, honestly. And unfortunately, he became ill and ended up doing what he did. Maybe he was a victim himself, just like my father. I know more about Hinamizawa Syndrome than anybody. This disease makes people act in bizarre ways, without those people realizing it. So when the people at the terminal stage do such strange and violent things, one should be sympathetic. I already knew that back when I decided to go down this path. I should have remembered it sooner, but I did just now. It's just a repeated cycle, just remembering, forgetting, and trying to remember all over again. Sometimes reminders help a lot. I finally realized what sinful research I'm working on. Well, you sent a dotted line, and now you're in for the long haul, so pick your choices wisely. Sadako Hojo's detailed test results came back. The results say L5. Oh, wow. She's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage. The terminal stage of the terminal stage. It's actually a surprising result. In last year's case, the patient was extremely deranged. According to Kano-san's records, he complained about itching coming from the lymph nodes all over his body when a claw at his throat, just as the late Dr. Kano mentioned. But Sadako-chan isn't displaying such symptoms. Even the late Takano's data, throat clawing is said to be a characteristic symptom of terminal stage patients. However, not all patients experience that symptom. Huh. Besides, emotional expression is very different from each person. Even if there's the same emotion, one patient may express it rather violently and another may express it calmly. There's no way of knowing just by just looking at a person. There was actually, I remember that actually. I actually reread when Shion actually tased Mion and Oreo, like her grandma, actually, because I wanted to figure out basically the conversation that Mia was talking about was on the phone, to see if I can glean anything from that. But I couldn't, honestly. I still don't quite understand what that maybe could be. Like just keeping the whole entire thing of their knowledge of Takano and Tomataki's deaths, like, secret, honestly. Like to keep under wraps, honestly. Maybe like try to look into it a tiny bit to see what's happening. But Shion also mentioned in her own narration that she felt very calm when she tased them both, honestly. Yeah, so. But Sadako-chan's detailed test results say that she's at the terminal stage of the terminal stage L5. How many times do you repeat that, honestly? The terminal stage of the terminal stage. Just say terminal stage already. Only just terminal stage, please. I feel like my goddamn brain's gonna explode if you keep doing that giant phrase. In other words, she may be feeling what the man from last year was feeling. It's just that she's expressing that feeling the same way the man was. Hinamizawa Syndrome affects the frontal lobes of the brain, stimulates the most primitive emotions, doubt, very strongly. As a result, terminal patients are trapped in delusions and paranoia, and end up committing horrible crimes. Sadako-chan seems to show improvement when she's exchanging friendly words with Satoshi-kun. But there's a paranoia stirring inside her that may put her in a deranged state at any moment. I can't let her leave the clinic like this. However, things go according to the manual. I will have to make a decision in their dissection. My decision will only be a formality. I can't actually refuse. Takano-san appears to be already working the dissection schedule. That plan will then come to me. Will I feel the same way while dissecting Sadako-chan? Will I be able to experience that trance once again? No. The question is, can I fight the temptation? The addiction, for the sound of it? As I pretend to question myself, I'm letting Takano-san prepare things on her own. By doing so, am I passively agreeing to Sadako-chan's dissection? If possible, I do want to save Sadako-chan. I don't want her to be sacrificed to this research. I don't want to dissect her. And what about the man from last year? Do I only care about the lives of people I know? If I don't dissect her, do I let her live and leave the clinic? Do I simply wait for her to become deranged and commit a horrible crime? And then she'll end up here, just like the man from last year, and I'll end up dissecting her anyway. The man from last year was dissected alive, in case I waited for several months. Oh shit! I thought you just normally just like, I don't know what I was expecting actually. Just oh hey, we found we cut over the your crane, your skull, honestly, and your exposed brain now, just on full display, just looking for that one single parasite. Okay, we found it. We have found the origin of the microbe. Okay, kill him now. I don't know what I was expecting besides that, but even several fucking months apparently. Okay, maybe a week in that. Like, maybe a week or a month, like, find out, like, those tests, honestly, but I'm assuming they kept him alive after, even finding the, I guess, the parasite actual microbe origins, actually, too. With his skull left open, he wasn't allowed to die for several months. He's kept alive, just for our cruel experiments. I don't want to do that to her. I don't know what to do. Even debating and agonizing over is leading toward consent or dissection by elimination. I don't know if that technically counts as him denying, I guess, dissection research then, though, but yeah. It's making it clear that I like showing his doubt, and it gives the probably why he grows more attached to protecting her as well as also Coach, when like so she also goes missing too, so It's really just like, it's not exactly it, but don't know if we have the life specimen yet, like, because we don't have anything about him, okay, we don't have anything for the queen thing. Where would be anything about him, I guess, that guy, then, just to be sure, honestly, of it. Completion, high fever, nothing. Consent to collection of cerebrospinal fluid, no. Bottle of wine, no. Pressure to make a shopping trip, no. Haven't heard a single thing about that. Awareness of sins, no. Footsteps in the fourth year, it's another one I'm really interested in about, honestly. Another, I guess, deal breaker to think about, honestly, and look over. I do want to try to figure this out more. I'm gonna need some more time to think about this, and I'm running low on time as is, honestly. Like, I'm just getting lost in the time, honestly. And it's only until I just hear my own voice to just crack and I feel the dryness in my own actual throat that I realize I'm actually going for way too long. So it's actually a good place to leave this off here. It's, again, a lot of interesting, like, fragments, honestly, piecing together, and just actually seeing, I guess, little headspace of characters and at certain events and locations, honestly, and just seeing how they felt or what led to certain events happening all at once. Makes quite a lot of, like, it's really fun and fascinating actually to read through, honestly. So, I guess for next time, I need to try to find a way that talks about the kidnapping of the minister's grandson, the mountain dog's done. Then everything talking about I guess how they actually like, I guess the tip, or like discussing all about how they got that the main culprit for the manager's murder, and then continue on from there. I feel like I have to really find those fragments, those like little comments somewhere hidden in some of these, then it'd probably be way much more easier to get through everything else. I feel like Jiro Tomataki's promise for this one, for example, is probably in right here, actually, routine inspection. But bottle of wine and directed emergency manual is required. It's probably don't, like, maybe bottle of wine's, like, inside a shopping trip. I guess some fragment here, probably from there. But Gerard Emergency Manual, that's another, I guess, hospital one. Maybe either there? Well, definitely either one of the, I guess, the medicine, like, medicine ones, honestly. Most likely. Because it feels like we're really close to getting to this one, but we don't have that murder, so I'm not going to try until I'm certain that there's nothing else. I'll probably, like, click this maybe next time I can't find anything, or just, like, looking through everything over again, and just crack screen, like, no, my little perfect record, honestly, which I only failed once on purpose to see what it was like. No. Okay, but this is a really good time. Again, I'm gonna say my praise about the good format, I guess, change, honestly, to get brain to work, honestly, and just think about things in a different way. Because I know for a fact you probably, like, there's some probable way to people are just gonna get through the order of this in completely different ways. And maybe there's actually a way to actually the requirements so you can actually get this first sacrifice, then first, then this, and get this all in order. There's probably a way to do that, but I can't find I guess a definite clear way to get the first requirement, actually, so yeah, that's probably the biggest thing in the head. I guess it's gonna be an entire thing where if I do find the one fragment that talks about it, and it's like right there on the open, I'll just be very annoyed and also very sad. I broke my own little rule, though. Like, this definitely was interesting to read through, honestly. All for that, actually. All for that. Oh boy, that's one of the few, like, fragments I'm looking forward to go through. And probably the rest will probably be near the end. So at least one for each stage. In the middle, which is going to be talking about Rika's mom having suspicions about him letting her child be involved inside the experiments itself. And the formation of the club, which is around the time of the Ants murder then. And then we'll just see that I think it's definitely meant to be implied right now that literally both Sadako and Satoshi literally killed people before, so there's that. There's that. Just something to contend with, honestly, right now. It's always implied. Always implied. But still, they didn't directly say it, so always in denial. Always in denial. And I'll leave it to my very last breath. Oh, boyo. But I guess we'll figure out which next fragment I'll need to take. But I guess I'll try to figure that out. All for next time. So, have a fun time watching as I am playing this. Hope to see you next time. Whatever the time that may be. And I'll hope you fantastic day.